One of the primary characteristics of data science is understanding the research question. The research question is very important to formalize. Mainly, we're looking for questions that are specific, yet are also detailed enough for us to present some interesting and exciting facts about our data. And in this video, we're going to brainstorm potential research questions using artificial intelligence on our own topics. The research question is either supported through our analysis or rejected. Let's look at this example here. We have a data set for Netflix movies and TV shows. If I scroll down, I can see more information about the specific data set. We have around 9,000 Netflix TVs and movie shows. We have 12 columns or characteristics. So I'm going to brainstorm a few research questions. For example, one research question can be, how many titles are movies? And another research question can be, how many titles are TV shows? Would you consider these good research questions or bad research questions? I would characterize these as bad research questions, mainly because they lack detail. If you think about it, we can answer both of these questions in one word. For example, how many titles are movies? This can be something like 3,000. And then how many titles are TV shows? That could be just another number as well. But with the research question, we're looking for something more involved in the sense that it captures additional attributes of the data set. We might want to somehow involve the rating and see how the ratings affect release date, or we can also look at the duration and what TV shows and movies have the largest duration and how is their corresponding rating. So with these two research questions, I'm going to go ahead and say that these research questions are bad because they lack complexity and characteristics such as analyzing titles across ratings and duration. So I've given my opinion on what I think about these research questions. So what is a good research question? Let's look at this other data set here, which is for COVID-19. We already can see a lot of data here. The data set can be downloaded through this data section over here. In essence, we have data about COVID-19 vaccine distributions, who got one vaccine, how many total doses were administered. We also have population data such as people's age, race, gender, and things of that sort. So what possible research questions can we answer for a data set around COVID-19? One possible research question could be, did age, race, or gender play a role in the vaccine distribution, or are there other factors involved that went into the thinking and planning of the vaccine distribution? Right off the bat, you can see that this research question is, in words at least, is larger than these two research questions combined. We have interesting characteristics such as age, race, and gender, and we want to understand if these characteristics, these three characteristics, played a role in the vaccine distribution. So I'm going to say that at least the part I highlighted at the moment is a great research question because it includes 2+ characteristics such as age, race, or gender that we can compare and contrast. I'm also going to say that the second part that I highlighted over here is quite vague. And there's not any specificity to what these other factors are and how in depth should the analysis answer this part of the research question. So I'm going to say the second part is vague. The second part is bad because it is vague. And the first part is good because it includes 2+ characteristics such as age, race, or gender that we can compare and contrast. So now that we've seen two examples of research questions, we've given our opinion on what are some bad research questions, we've given our opinion on what are some good research questions, and we've also given our opinion that vague research questions are bad, even if they're part of a good research question. We're going to brainstorm research questions for this topic, which is depression among students. Going into this data set, we have around 500 students, and we're looking at characteristics such as their age, gender, academic performance. study habits, their sleep, financials, their family. So can we really brainstorm research questions for this data set now? To do so, I'm going to use a generative AI tool, and I'm going to use something called few-shot prompting. So few-shot prompting is a method of prompt engineering where we give this generative AI a few examples of what is considered good, what is considered bad, to help it understand what we're looking for. And then given these examples, the model can actually learn better and give us a better output based on our context. A naive approach would be to just say, give me a few research questions on depression student data set. So this would be quite a naive approach because there's no context. The AI model doesn't understand what we know to be good and bad. It doesn't understand what depth of research question we're looking for. So now that we have these examples, we can form a prompt using this few-shot prompting strategy to help us create better brainstorming ideas for research questions. So I'm going to first say example one, and I'm going to say that this is a brief example. I'll copy the exact statement. By the way, it doesn't know what the research questions are, so I'll copy that as well. The research questions, and I'm going to wrap these around quotes so it knows that this is a separate part of the question. This research question and this research question are bad because they lack complexity and characteristics such as analyzing titles across ratings and duration. Then we're going to give it another example, example two, and we'll formalize what the level of detail is. So we're going to say that this is a detailed example, and we're going to say the research question, and again, wrap it around quotes. So this research question is good because of this part. It includes 2+ characteristics such as age, race, or gender that we can compare and contrast. But the part, which is the second part of the research question, which starts from here, is bad because it is vague. So we've given it two really different examples. One is brief, one is detailed. And now we can ask the prompt, and we're going to say, give me a few good, detailed research questions that are related to the topic. And again, we're going to choose this topic, and I'm going to wrap this with quotes. And before I just press enter, I'm going to just see if I can include any more context about this data set. So I'll read the about section and try to at least give one sentence about what this data set does. So I think this is a great sentence I can include. So it examines the connection between mental health and various demographic, academic, and lifestyle factors. Copy this. It's also very helpful to tell the AI prompt exactly which columns are present in your data set. So I can see that the author listed out all of their columns here. So I'm going to copy that as well and paste it here. And now I'm going to see what results it gives me. So it gave me 5 examples. Let's, look at one of them. Number 3, to what extent do dietary habits and family history of mental illness contribute to the severity of depression? And how do these factors differ across gender and age? So this is quite detailed to begin with. We're looking at a few characteristics such as family history and dietary habits, and then comparing that to the level of depression and comparing and contrasting those results across genders and ages. So if we go back to our data set, we have a column for academic pressure. We have one for dietary habits, which is what the research question was about. We have a question on family history of mental illness. For example, we can also look at things such as financial stress and academic pressure. These are 2 characteristics again. We can also look at gender and age and its relationship between sleep duration, dietary habits, and depression levels. So there's many combinations of characteristics we can combine, and hopefully the analysis itself will lead to some interesting conclusions. The pro tip here is really to ask the same question to different generative AI models and see if we can find anything that's more interesting than we've seen before. So I've pasted it in Gemini here, which is from Google. One of the questions here is, how does the combined effect of sleep and dietary habits influence suicidal thoughts? And it also combines this aspect of looking at study hours. We also have a brief description of the research question. This is talking about two different characteristics, sleep duration and dietary habits. When we looked at ChatGPT, it was looking at dietary habits and family history instead of sleep duration. So we can sort of mix and match and ask the same question to different AI models to see what their response is. Another one is Claude AI. If I paste the same question here, research question number 1 is, how do sleep duration and dietary habits correlate with depression? And is this relationship moderated by financial stress levels? So instead of looking at how these factors differ across gender and age, Cloud AI suggests that we can also do analysis based off of the financial stress levels. This was just a tip. Once you have this prompt ready, you can ask it to different AI models and read through the answers and see which one gives you some sort of idea which you would like to explore further. Remember that this is only for brainstorming, and the research question you ultimately want to spend time answering should be something you're interested in. I'm going to paste this in the description of the video and create it in a way where you just have to enter your topic and some information about the data set itself.